Canada is a two-tiered police state where if you are supporting a government cause, government-backed cause, you have carte blanche to do anything that you want. And if you're supporting a cause that our liberal government does not deem appropriate, none of the charter rights and freedoms apply to you. Last night, I went and visited one of these so-called pro-Palestinian rallies that have been taking over our streets for the past 2 years, every day disrupting our civilization. And I saw body bags. I saw, not kidding you, there was about 10 body bags laid out on the stairs. I saw people giving Heil Hitler and gun signs pointed to their head. I had a guy walk up to me and said he was going to knock me out as I walked down a public street. They would not allow me to film video of the body bags. I heard some of the most vile speech you could ever hear in your life being yelled through loudspeakers. I saw men approaching police officers, getting right in their face, screaming at them with absolutely no reaction. And I just thought to myself, we now officially live in a country where the law is applied anything but equally. I guarantee you, if this were a conservative rally, if this were a freedom convoy type event, we would have had hundreds of arrests. There would have been news stories all over the place about how extremists had taken over our streets, how the far right wing had gone too far, how these men were a danger to our society, undoubtedly. But what do these guys receive because they are supporting a cause that many liberal voters support? They get the red carpet rolled out. They get to march down the middle of our streets with a police escort. It's truly shocking. I used to think that it was somewhat of an exaggeration when people would say we live in a two-tiered police state where you're treated completely differently based on the ideology that you're espousing. But now I realize that's 100% the case, and that's a very scary situation to be in as a country. Because if you look historically, all authoritarian leaders, the brown shirts in Nazi Germany, Stalin's group in the USSR, Mao's police in China, the law only applied to you if you were opposing the government. That's what makes the Constitution, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, so brilliant, is because it's supposed to mean that regardless of who you are, the law applies equally to everybody. But that clearly is no longer the case in Canada. It's no longer the case in Canada. What I saw last night was threats screamed in my face, people yelling they were going to knock me out, some vile stuff I'm not even going to repeat here. Like I said, fake body bags all over the streets. I have a hard time believing that's legal. Can you imagine if a conservative rally had something like fake body bags on the street? They would be arresting people left and right. I saw police officers screamed at in their face, and it's just one more example of how Mark Carney and the Liberal government are destroying this country. I'm sure not all of them, but I'm sure that many at this rally are among the 8 million immigrants that have been allowed into this country in the past decade. Not an exaggeration to say it's an invasion. Our country cannot withstand it much longer. And now, despite the fact that 75% of Canadians say it's too much, Mark Carney's just announced we're going to allow another million in 2025, when 75% of Canadians say we cannot withstand any more immigration. So remind me how exactly we live in a democracy when as overwhelming consensus as 75% of Canadians are saying too much immigration, yet they continue to allow people in the country. We are seeing new so-called hate speech laws implemented through Bill C-63, the Online Harms Act, where they can throw you in prison not for anything you've even posted or said online, but for something that they believe you are likely to post in the future. Through the creation of the Digital Safety Commission, you can be placed under house arrest, have an ankle bracelet on if somebody reports they believe you are likely to post something hateful in the future. They're only going to go after people who espouse right-wing views with that, because I saw hate speech being yelled on our streets last night like you wouldn't believe it. Not a single arrest. It was a police escort. So the idea that they are going to introduce an Online Harms Act that can imprison Canadians for their online speech is a joke. They're not They're not arresting people espousing hate speech in our streets, screaming through loudspeakers. It's truly shocking what this government is trying to do. Bill C2, Bill C4 would allow the Liberal government to open your mail without notifying you, look through your mail. Every single Canadian that has a computer will now be considered an electronic device provider, which allows the government, again, in the so-called national security interest in Bill C2, to look through all of your electronic communications. Bill C4 removes any laws regarding the Liberals' collection of private information, private data, dating back to the year 2025. Dating back to the year the year 2000. In Canada, the past 25 years, absolving them of any wrongdoing that they've done. It's truly insanity, and it's authoritarianism. That's what's coming to Canada. Canadians have this perception due to this woke veneer that has been used by the Liberal government. This soft language make them seem as though they're empathetic and accepting. Canadians, don't be mistaken. I've never been more certain. If you are a conservative, if you are talking about immigration, if you are espousing views that our government doesn't align with, if you are angry that people are walking through our streets with body bags, chanting from the river to the sea, Intifada, our government hates you and they will go after you hard. Canada is quickly becoming much closer to China, much closer to Russia than we are to Sweden. It's just a fact. You look at what Carney's trying to push through. Trudeau did a lot of damage to our great Charter of Rights and Freedoms during COVID, and Carney is here to finish the job. It's truly shocking on our streets, the police escorts we are seeing for extremists. If that's not an alarm bell going off in people's heads, then nothing can, and they try to intimidate you from filming. It's truly disgusting behavior. I'm going to keep getting out on the streets, reporting to Canadians on what's going on as best I can. If you're interested in supporting, hit the link in my bio, donate, grab some gear. Please like, subscribe. It helps get my message out. Canadians need to be awake to the fact that we already are a two-tiered police state, and if you don't toe the government line, our government is out to get you.